in the country and abroad. The reason we're talking to you, Brother Tahir Maepa, Secretary General, Public Service and Commercial Union, is because Nedbank has ordered by the Equality Court to keep Sekunjalo accounts open. What has led up to this situation between Nedbank and the Sekunjalo group? Salamu alaikum to you, Tahir. Nice to have you on the show and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for having me.
Nice to have you on the show.
Now, my sister, I think you've summed up the whole Sekunjalo scenario quite nicely. What listeners need to understand is that out of these companies that you have referred to, Sekunjalo only owns a stake per company. They are not 100% owners of those companies. So as it stands, Sekunjalo is simple, what you call a shareholder in some of these companies. Yes, there are other companies where Sekunjalo Group sort of owns 100%, but not all of them. Now, here we are seeing a scenario where the media in the country has been writing adverse articles against Dr. Iqbal Sevi for quite a number of years. And when the Mumpati Commission did the investigation about what had transpired at the PIC, they then also made some adverse comments, not necessarily findings, against Dr. Sevi. Now, that is what the bank are relying on. And remember that there's no court of law, there's no any guilty verdict against Sekunjalo Group or Dr. Sevi as a person that defies why the banks are doing this. But the banks are relying on the Constitutional Court case that says that the banks basically have a right to just close this account if they deem it fit. They don't even necessarily have to give you reason because of it. Well, their bank, they can do as they wish. But the crux of the matter is that we are in a democracy where the rule of law is supposed to be paramount. And if you want to take an action against me, it must be justifiable, even if you have a right to do so. You cannot just act against me or any company or any other individual without justifying why. Now, if we are going to go with the narrative of the bank, let's say the banks are correct. So are they saying that anytime if somebody writes something negative about me or you, and then they pick it up on media, whether it's proven to be true or not, and automatically they start closing the bank, that can't be right. And that is the crux of what this is all about. It's about basically the rule of law and whether the banks have powers that are beyond any other institution. But what is even worse is the fact that Sekunjalo has over 8,000 employees with over 40,000 dependents. Now, if you close a bank account of a business, basically that business cannot operate. And if that business cannot operate, it will either be liquidated or it will go under. But the employees automatically suffer the consequences of that particular action. So these are bystanders. These are employees who've got nothing to do with the politics of the day, but they are going to pay the ultimate price simply because a decision has been taken to close a bank account of a company going concern that is making money, that is operating within the of the law. It hasn't been charged for reckless lending or whatever, but still they have to pay the price. And we are saying that is wrong. And I hope that the victory, which is not the ultimate victory that Sekunjalo Group got, a reprieve basically, to say that the bank should not close their accounts until such a time the court has taken a decision, will help. And we hope that the Equality Court will rule in favor of Sekunjalo Group.
Okay, it sounds like outright discrimination for some reason or the other. And I'm going to make a very simplistic statement here, and you can respond to it as well. Would the remedy then not be depending on what evidence or what reasoning Nedbank is deciding or has decided to close Sekunjalo's account? Would the simplistic thing not be for Sekunjalo just to move the account to another bank? We also know that they do still deal with the Standard Bank, which accounts are still running as per normal.
No, you see, the problem is that remember, Sekunjalo, they had a similar problem with FNB. They had a similar problem with ABSA, where they also decided to just close their bank accounts. Now, you can see that this thing is a systemic thing.
Okay, Tahir, I've lost you there.
Running out
Hello,
of bank.
hello. Just turn around or something. I lost
Yes,
you there.
can you
Tahir,
hear
are
me?
you there? Yeah, okay, carry on.
Yes, I'm still here. No, what
Okay, I
I'm
lost
saying
you there for a
is,
minute.
okay, the reason
Carry
why
on.
Sekunjalo has to challenge the Nedbank.
Nope, I've lost you
Bank,
again. Tahir, Tahir, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, I'm losing you from time to time. Just don't move around. Just stay where you are. And my final question to you, can add it to your response, is that if FNB has also used a similar tactic against Sekunjalo, and here I'm playing devil's advocate, do you not think that there's more than meets the eye here in the situation? How come FNB and Nedbank are wanting to obviously close accounts, not do business with Sekunjalo any longer? Is there something we don't know?
Absolutely, absolutely. This goes beyond just the fact that there's been adverse media statements against Sekunjalo and his chairperson. We believe that these are political fights, and if you look at the history of Sekunjalo, the problems of Dr. Sevi started when he bought independent media. That's where the problem started. Obviously, there's certain groupings in the country who believe that media should belong to a certain class of people. And the mere fact that independent media belongs to a wholly black owned company, that has always been a problem. And that problem now is playing out in the field, and then they are using the banks, they are using all sort of unscrupulous ways to try and suppress Sekunjalo Group to the extent that they will end up handing over independent media. That is the cap. And I think we have seen it coming for quite some time now. But the other issue that you have raised is the fact that it's ironical that FNB used the same trick, ABSA used the same trick, now is Nedbank. So very soon, the Sekunjalo Group will be running out of banks, basically. You'll find a situation where none of the banks are trading with them, and where does it take us? But it's way above Sekunjalo, because it can happen to any of us. It can happen to any business that is not towing the line, that is not towing a particular political narrative. And the banks are going to be used for that particular purpose. And we all know that banks are utterly racist where we are concerned. I mean, me and you, when we go and seek loans, we are being charged at a higher interest rate compared to white people. So this thing should not be looked at as if, no, it's a savvy issue. This is a nation issue. The banks need to be transformed, and they need to be transformed by force, because they are not going to do it voluntarily.
Okay, Tahir, we are going to watch the outcome of this case rather closely. We hope you'll talk to us about it sometime soon. And I think another conversation you and I have to have is the issue around black people being charged a higher interest rate. We know it goes back to the dark days of apartheid. I'd like to think that that has been done away with, but I think we do need to do more investigation into that matter, and let's have a discussion very soon on that as well. But thank you once again for your time. That was Tahir Maepa talking about the issue around Sekunjalo and Nedbank. 9:05 News and Views on Salam Media, and of course Tahir Maepa is the Secretary General Public Service and Commercial Union, PSCU for short.